All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Katanagatari, episode 12. She's been shot.
Yeah.
Twice.
Not
okay.
Not a good look for the way things are going.
It's not great, but you know, she might be okay.
Right. I mean, we've got crazy Ninpo powers. We've got all kinds of ridiculous stuff here. Yeah.
But
otherwise, didn't see that one coming.
No. And now we have a full episode where I'm sure there will be a shit ton of action because, you know, our boy Shichika is going to be on the warpath. But like, the episodes are usually so full of banter and like fun, lighthearted jokes and stuff.
I guess that's over.
What do you do when there's... I don't see that happening.
Hey, it's a sword story. It's not a strategic story.
That's true, and it's not a love story.
We have mentioned this before. Yep.
Yeah.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Yep.
We are in a worry after all.
Nice. Wow.
Oh.
Damn. All right, get
He's
that
referring to him as the sword.
Okay. Right. Personal perspective versus secondhand lived experience. Not lived. Oh, cool. Oh, so you can say goodbye.
Damn. That's...
Wow.
Holy
you
shit.
son of a bitch. Those are for you to hear, not me. Oh, you're not her shield, you're her sword.
I'm just waiting for the final cheerio.
Oh. Yeah. No, without you. Yeah, I couldn't have done any of this. Yeah. Well, in the last year that I walk with somebody. Yep. Yes, you have. Yeah, she fell for you too. Oh, is she gonna list them out? Oh. Yeah. Oh. Oh, his voice acting is so good. Oh, it's time to scheme. Yeah, this is the scheme. This is the scheme. The eyes acting. Yeah.
You don't need to do this.
Well, this is one of the things that made sense based on who she was originally. This was her original goal, I think.
Right.
But she changed. Wow. That's a cool way to put it.
Yeah, even so.
Oh. Yep, and it just spirals ever onward, yeah.
But you choose where that ends.
Yep. I gained. Not that I experienced, that I gained, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But if all those were pawns, then wouldn't this also be a pawn?
Oh. 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 Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh. No, that's the point. You were the sword. You can do anything you want. Nice fading of the eye there. Oh, that soft whisper of the line as well. Yep. That's some iconic last words right there for the final phrase, final sentence. It's impressive having a story then commit to a death like this with so much episode left in the finale, you know?
Right. I know, what's left? Like, does he actually go after revenge or no?
It depends. If he forgets about her, he wouldn't. Ooh, nice. He was a historian. Wow.
Ah. Yep, here we go.
Jesus.
Matrix tower fight, let's go.
Fuck. Those eyes.
Yeah.
Fuck. Jesus.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Not warrior, sword. Feels so much like his sister.
Yeah.
Yep. It's because I killed his master.
Wow. Oh. Oh.
Yeah, you better send all your elite guards to go stop him. 11, that's fun. Each of them armed with a...
All at the
blade?
same time. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
yeah.
Just the... Mm-hmm. Nice.
All right.
All right, built up in the OP.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. All equipped.
Yeah.
Fighting one at a time.
11 floors, you know? Yeah. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All the things that he's learned. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now he breaks all the swords. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, none of them will be used at any point.
Right.
Yeah.
And the final sword to be broken will be him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Broken.
Yep.
Didn't even touch her.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Holy shit.
Oh my god. Motherfucker is Eisen.
Yep.
Yeah, bring in the music. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you gonna do against the armor?
Fuck yeah, the music. So I'll just lift you up. Yep.
Okay.
Oh my god, he is terrifying.
There it goes. Oh god. Oh god.
He's giving every reason as to why he needs to be broken as a sword as well, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Using it as a weapon. Yep. 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 Fuck, man. Wow, that's such an insult too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's he's not just destroying them physically.
Destruction 100.
Yeah, destruction 100 on the way out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
All right. Okay.
At this point, it's impressive how well you can write unique ways for all of them to die in ways that make sense for the swords themselves.
Right. Yeah.
Oh! Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa. You were in the way?
Yeah.
Togame was in the way?
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Just done. One hit.
Oh shit.
Okay, thankfully, to be at least.
Yeah. His kid's alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right, here we go. Yeah,
Okay.
This is the one I was really interested to see how they would do this. Yeah. I didn't see the sword get broke. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Mendota. Yep. Yep. Oh. Oh.
Okay.
That shift in voice and facial expression of hers, like,
And now the Shogun's all to herself.
Yep. Oh. Yeah, yeah. Break it down. Break it down.
Just so that she could rest easier?
Yeah. Yeah. He's not a denying kind of person.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's a bit cruel.
That's mean.
That's below the belt.
Yeah. We're literally going through the progression of time as well to when she cuts her hair. Yeah.
Yep.
It's so cool that they've used the medium of animation so well to describe the ways in which she's evolved and changed as a character and a person, to the point where now you can see that, yeah, the emotions and everything change. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, let's go! Sure. Let's talk, yeah. Talk.
But that's one order I can't follow. Oh shit.
Alright, the guns are out. Yep. Alright, we're going back down a few floors.
Yeah.
I wanted to die. But I'm
gonna kill you too.
I dodged them just enough that I'd be able to keep fighting. Yep, like his sister.
Yep. And this is how it'll tie into his catchphrase.
Yep.
Because by the time I fall, you'll already be torn to pieces.
Yep. Shit! They are tearing each other to pieces.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was her hair. Yeah.
The full move.
Yep. Every single step. Yep.
Holy shit. Alright.
He's just gonna let himself bleed out.
Yeah. Favorably for me, that is.
Yeah, pass him along. Wow.
Okay.
He's not gonna kill her. And of the two of you, yep.
Yep. Right.
Yeah. Oh. But, yeah, this is not for her. This is for me.
Oh.
Oh, fuck.
God damn.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Yep.
Can you spread the word Cheerio? No.
Cheerio! Oh my God! good!
I was wondering when the last Cheerio would come in. I thought it would be like Togame's dying words or something, but that is perfect.
Oh, that was poetry. Holy shit.
And that's just the end right there?
Oh, I mean, it looks like we're...
Like, we gotta have, like, an after-credits scene or something, or, like...
Wait! Oh. Fuck you. This anime, oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. One of the last few places you haven't mapped out yet. Yes! You don't get to understand why that is.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows, yeah. Yep, maybe. Who's to say? Nice, good fortune, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. So I think
Okay.
I can honestly say that this is one of those anime where the ending is paramount. And like you really needed this ending to like stick it. Like this ending tied up like so many like specific things. And while it's definitely not a happy ending. It's a very
definitely
bitter,
not.
It's a very bitter, sweet ending. And yet
Sure.
in a lot of ways, the idea that one of them had to die by the end of this was kind of something that we had known was going to be the case at the very least.
Maybe.
No, that was something we talked about in like episode 6. Like that there was definitely okay, one of them's gonna die. I thought it was gonna be Shichika.
I don't know. It's something where I loved a lot of the things that happened in this episode, and yet it was one of those things where like when I think about character deaths, especially when it's like characters that you really care about, it's always going to be kind of like a kick in the dick, right? Like it's gonna suck, and then but there's the after, and I don't know, this one really hurt, and I feel like this last episode helped nail home for me just how much I actually did want that happy ending,
Sure.
Like, because we don't get it, right?
Yeah.
Like, we see the emptiness, we see the sorrow, and there's the freedom that Shichika finds in that, yes, but yeah, I don't know.
His life starts with him essentially being a non-living being that is a sword on an island, isolated from the world, having no real emotions, experiences, or anything like that. But over the course of the story, he lives. And because of that, it's not just that he then dies and loses it all immediately and resolves to go into nothingness and despair, and it all is meaningless, once he loses her. He realizes, okay, no, I don't have to obey her orders now. I'm not going to forget her. I'm not going to go after vengeance. I'm going to go and break this whole stupid mission thing.
But I'm going to go die. right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it didn't end up happening because he's just that tough to kill, right?
Yes.
But like that's what he wanted. So like that's the
Right, but I think in some ways the act of him going through this journey made it so that he couldn't actually get what he wanted out of this here in the same way that he would have wanted a happy ending with Togame. Yeah. He's able to then have something more than that. And while there's definitely the pain of going through life then not having forgotten the love that you had, that's life. That's a beautiful picture of life and what happens when things come and go, and you can't change history. You can't alter the past, but you can take what you've learned from that and apply it moving forward. The idea that he gets to live free, not as a sword, is just that feels just so beautiful as for regards to his awakening, him being complete in that regard, because he started the story, incomplete.
I kind of look at it from the different direction. He got something that was valuable, but what a tragedy that it took such an infinite cost, right?
Okay.
Like it's that aspect of, well, would it have been better? Because it's not a like she had to die in order for him to be free.
No, of course
right.
Not. That was someone else's choice that did that.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end, he is free, so that's good.
Right.
But
so how is that different than what I'm saying?
This feels a lot more like a tragedy than Bittersweet, if that makes sense.
Oh, well, okay.
Like, because like when I think of Bittersweet, I usually think of it as like, it's a good ending except for this part, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like this, I feel like it's the
no, it's a
very bad
sweet
ending. Yeah, right,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not binary. It's not just either you have Bittersweet where there's no nuance. It has to be 50-50.
No, totally.
No, I'm bringing up the idea that this is a reincarnation. This is literally a rebirth. We had death for life here. The idea that her story went about this way is not just because of Emon's desire to follow his princess's orders and kill her, but also specifically because she decided, Togame decided to go on this thing here.
Right, and she didn't give it up.
Yeah,
all the times that she could have.
All the times that she could have. There were many times that they had love, they had their relationship, they had their desires, but she was ultimately still that other person. She had maybe for the most part defeated it, but that little part of her still wouldn't let the journey end.
Maybe that's the part of it that makes it hard for me to accept, because we essentially got the kick in the dick of the beloved character getting killed, right at the end, right?
Right.
It's gut-wrenching.
Right.
And then in the dying words, we have all of the stuff of the, it was all a lie. I was using you as a tool, et cetera, et cetera.
Which is also itself kind of a lie. It's
right, exactly. And
the truth is always hidden and sandwiched between two conflicting lies or truths.
Exactly. And the thing that we get at the end of, but even so, would it be all right if I fell for you? Right. That's the truth that she's getting at, basically, in her tsundere way, even as she's bleeding out.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
But
she always did love him, but she wouldn't let herself fall for him.
But
she had always like flirted with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's saying this is more speaking to her own inability to be honest and vulnerable, rather than getting at any kind of like truth of the matter. Maybe it's perspective of how she was at the beginning, which is, you know, that makes sense, right? Originally she was planning to kill him at the end.
Well, it's also a fun flip on the idea of the emotions of this whole thing. Shichika was the one that came into the story cold and without emotions, and yet the whole twist of it was that she was the one all along that was actually the cold one without emotions and wouldn't relent and let the emotions and the feelings of this win her over.
Yeah.
Even though she was definitely playing with that for the purpose of the lie and getting him to keep going and go through this mission, but she was falling for him.
No, right, exactly. But that's where it's one of those things where the adding the aspect of this is her own lies that she's telling even
her
now.
Inner conflict, yeah.
Right. That makes it feel better, but without that, it feels like it's kind of the show belittling the journey that they went on.
But that's the thing. It's
even though it's obviously a character thing that she's saying.
It's a character thing, yeah. Because not only that, she's also hatching a scheme. She turns on the eye in that moment when she says the thing there. It's the thing of to where her true nature is that duplicitous side of the purple eye and the normal eye.
What do you think her scheme was here?
Well, no, but basically, if she can push him away, if she can.
Oh, right.
If she can do that, she can get him to forget her.
Right, it's the
kind of thing where
I always despise that when it happens in stories. No, but I hate it so much.
No, I totally get that, but it's the kind of thing that's only done as a desperate scheme. It's not a genuine thing. It is in itself also a lie because she contradicts herself like multiple times in this bit here because she's scared. She's got all the feelings she's going through right now. She's also having that freedom to be as vulnerable as possible and show him the full depths of the ugly side of her. And yet it's no, that wasn't 100% you. You're not 100% either the one that's willing to use him and throw him away and kill him at the end. That's who you were at the beginning of the mission, yes, where you had the snake cold hair.
And in fact, even then, you might not have been. That might have just been who you thought you needed to be or wanted to be. Because let's be real. At the very beginning, she was silly, clumsy, and took herself way too seriously. Right? Like,
we could see even if she could not.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It was, that kind of thinking would have been basically delusions of grandeur at worst.
Sure. But also from the standpoint of even if that was a part of her act to get him to go with her, that shows in a lot of ways the bumbling side of her because she couldn't really understand Shichika at the beginning because he was so unmoved by her goofiness. He had no frame of reference for that because he was so isolated from humanity.
In that sense, it's sort of the opposite of star-crossed lovers, like the perfect match for each other.
Right.
Because he so disarms her, right?
Yeah, he does. But that's the part that I feel like is so beautiful is that they switched places by the end of the story, and she at the end is trying to use the little sword that she has to try and cut him to be like, now go away, now go and do this thing, and he's like, no, like. I've already let you stab me. You have my heart. It's all right here. I'm exposed and vulnerable. If anything, no, that little scheme you tried to hatch up, I'm disobeying that order. I'm going to do the exact opposite of that. I'm going to kill every single one of them in there, break the swords, has nothing to do with vengeance. I mean, maybe there's some emotions definitely in there for sure. Yeah, because he's now a more realized individual with multifaceted,
He would not have done this had she not died.
Correct.
But the reasons why he's doing it is not because he wants to get back at them, and that's showcased by the fact that he doesn't kill the princess.
Right.
Even though that bugged me a bit.
I mean, I
get why, but
I'm impressed because that's a very gutsy thing to do, but it's the kind of thing where her life was so upended by this that if she decided to try and, steal the shogunate or try and go through some shikizaki kiki, like falsifying history thing, I think his just actions showed that it's No, don't be stupid.
Sure.
Don't be stupid like she was in a lot of ways. Like,
yeah, I guess maybe the thing that I'm struggling with the most is the princess, because we don't know her that well
comparatively
right?
to Togame or Shichika.
Or
absolutely.
even Imonzemon, right? Like, so,
sure.
The fact that the life and death of, one of our most beloved characters depends on the desires and characterization of this person, and then it turns out she doesn't actually hold to it that strongly anyways, because, like she said, she's like, I both want to fulfill Shikizaki Kiki's plans, but I also kind of want to have them be ruined, right? Like in equal measure. The fact that we then get this point where, yeah, she's able to turn away from it, but at the same time she killed Togame, so it's like,
right.
That, like, couldn't we just as easily have had this with Togame still alive and Imonzemon still alive?
I think the difference is that we wouldn't have had a broken Shichika if we did that. Shichika would have been unstoppable. He would have walked in, murked everybody. He would have been the finished blade, but also, unbreakable.
I would say it wouldn't even get to that point.
Oh, really?
Right? Because the reason why this happened was because she died. Even if the motivation within Shichika's heart wasn't revenge, it definitely wouldn't have happened if she hadn't been killed.
No. But she was going to go meet the shogunate. So, like, she wanted to do essentially a slightly altered version of the same thing. But you don't think the shogunate would have, like, turned on her at any point and forced a conflict?
I mean, like, yeah, but
so it's basically just that. I mean, in the simplest terms, she really wanted to be the one to win. This was a rivalry between these two women
of who would get to do it, basically.
Who would basically have the wish granted to them by the shogunate. Who would get their favor, their political points, basically. And that's how, in some ways, how stupid this mission was, because it's the idea that she was going after this for so long, maybe not even realizing what she would spend it on. Like, we didn't have that conversation in the hardest sense of, so you're going after this thing here, but the reason actually as to why she was doing this, I think, was because it's a scheme. It's a thing that's going to grant her what she wants. But over the course of the story, she literally loses sight of what she wants. She is hot hunk boy who is very charming and adorable. Right. And she's falling for him, and she's loving more the adventure of just going around grabbing swords with him than the actual like end goal there.
Right. And so with the fact that she still, amidst all of that growth that we see from her, right, still ends up chooses against that. That's what makes it feel like it's a tragedy for me. Right?
Sure.
Because it's we see all the growth over the course of the story. That's what we're invested in. That's what we're coming to the episodes for. Yeah. And then it says, but that's not actually going to
it's not enough.
That is not going to capitulate into anything.
Yes.
Right?
No. Like, that's too binary. It's that it capitulates into something, but not for the person wishing it. The person that wishes it for it, Togame,
right? Exactly.
She doesn't get what she wants.
Fatal flaw. Togame can't actually give it up. Right. And so, mission failed, but we won't get him next time. Right.
Right. For Togame, but that's I think the point as to why it's not just purely a tragedy is that Shichika actually has literally been reborn over the course of this journey, and even though he's suffered great hardship and pain.
So the journey for Shichika is something that will not be undone, right? But the fact that it ended this way, I would posit, had nothing to do with whether or not Shichika would be able to be free. Oh. Right, because that would have happened even if it did have a happy ending, right? Like the growth for him had already taken place. There was no additional character struggle really for him here. This was the display of who he had become, right? Whereas with Togame, it's the
I have an alternate perspective to add to this though, because it's the point that he then was no longer her sword once he broke her orders, but in order to be able to do that, she had to die.
Well, he wasn't.
Hold on.
Okay.
But the thing that in order for him to be free, he would have to leave the master-servant, sword-master relationship. But in order to do that, she would have to essentially order him to give that up. But was she ever capable of doing that? I don't think so.
Well, I think she was, because in her dying moments, that's what she tried to get him to do, right?
Right. And I think that's the tragedy, if you will, is that she had many opportunities beforehand, and she only took it when it's I can't get what I want now.
Right.
So I'm going to do kind of the selfish thing and command you and move you like a pawn if I can in this way here. And I love that, because in some ways that she did that, he then goes, no, I'm going to be free. I'm going to break all the swords.
Yeah, you stopped being my master when you died. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
and I guess,
yeah,
I would have loved to have seen more of the other side of Togame that was the scheming, I'm just using this dude, in the show leading up to now, so that way I would feel more in tune with that as a point of conflict.
What?
Because I was actually kind of surprised, and I thought, like, I didn't believe it when she started saying it, but given that she went so in depth into it, I was like, oh, okay, no, this actually was something that's true. It's not just because she's trying to protect him so that he doesn't die, right?
Right.
You know,
it's both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think if we rewatch the show, we would absolutely see it. It's one of those things where we got distracted and caught up in the cutesy aspects of the story, and we didn't actually look at it from the more objective side of things.
I don't know.
Well, hold on. Just the idea that this show is actually very different from a lot of the anime that we typically watch.
Sure.
So we focus on the things that we like the most about it. And one of the things that I think what we very much can come to like an agreement with was that we liked the way the characters bantered and interacted together as the story went on versus where they started at. Because Togame was a different person. And we see her change, and that aspect of her changing.
We see both of them change.
Well, right, but that aspect of seeing her change was something that we liked so much that we didn't see this. We didn't think about the ways in which that she had her father be killed by this guy's father. We had already mentioned the idea of like, oh, she probably, was motivated as a kid or something for like, revenge and stuff. But seeing like, I think we basically just went all in on the journey had changed her. And I still think that's true. It's just that the story is saying that she didn't fully let it go. She had a small bit of her. The honest, if you will, truth of it was that she had held on to it the whole way through.
She did not pass the ultimate test, basically.
Correct.
And
that's probably what the guy a couple episodes ago was like, ooh.
Right. You haven't quite figured it out. You're still being stubborn and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. There were also another couple other things that I liked that this might have been hinted at through in the show, was that he constantly talked about how much he liked her, fell for her, was kind of just all over her.
Very, very upfront.
She never really could say that.
She never even would it be all right if I fell for you? I believe that's the first time she ever actually. That's her
confession.
That's her confession.
Exactly.
Right? As she's dying, her last words, basically. Yeah.
Whereas in a from another perspective here, I don't think they're trying to make it this dark in that respect. But there's a point before she's started dramatically changing, if you want to put it that way, like pre-haircut basically.
Oh, okay.
Where he's already being like, I fell for you. And she's kind of just doing the, where we think of that as, oh, she's blushing. She kind of shocks back.
She doesn't know how to,
She doesn't know how to respond to that.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the point.
But she likes it, but she doesn't know how to respond. Yeah.
Well, right. But the idea that she doesn't respond shows a guarded form of like, I am not willing to be vulnerable with you in that regard yet.
So it does, but the issue that I have with that is that anybody would seem guarded compared to Shichika. right? You know, like that says nothing about who they are as a person.
No.
In my mind, just
that's
that they're
true.
not Shichika,
no, that's true.
You know,
but when you consider the fact that this journey has been taking place over a year, and she's never reciprocated his feelings in a verbal way.
No, right, but that feels like a lot of stuff where it's like you mentioned that this will probably get a lot better on rewatch, and I fully agree with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I wasn't properly prepped that this was the kind of ending that we were going to get. And so I was really hoping that we'd get a different ending. And, you know, while being surprised by something, you know, doesn't inherently mean that the story's bad or anything like that, right? I would have certainly gotten a lot more enjoyment out of it and this specific ending if I had, you know, felt led up to it a bit more. And while I can get that on rewatch, that's then something that would be for a second experience, not from first experience.
But
you know?
But we've mentioned this like easily like 5 or 6 times throughout especially the middle to last half of the story, where we were like, oh, one of them is going to die. This is that kind of story. And it was basically a question of, at least from when I brought it up, at least I think when I brought it up, was at least one of them, but this could be one of those stories where both of them die.
I mean, yeah, my memories are foggy of the discussions. It might be something where, because of the fact that I actually saw it happen, you know, because of the intense emotional response to that.
Sure.
I'm like, no, this is bullshit.
I didn't want
this. I didn't want this. No one ever wanted this.
That's the thing.
How dare they?
Of
right?
course, nobody wants this.
No. Hang on. There's things where a character dies and you're like, I didn't want this, but you actually did, right? You know, if you think that it's the kind of show where you're going to get gut punched, you hate the gut punch, but you like that there was a gut punch, right? You know, it's because that's kind of what you're looking for. And with this show, it was so silly, so goofy, so charming, right? I didn't want punches.
But that was my point earlier, was that I think you fixated so hard on the cutesy charming part, which was actually more the recent part of the story, not the story overall.
I mean,
and that's why this is such a blindside, and that's the point of why they had her change, was so that when this happened, we actually were in love with her ourselves as well by that point.
No, right.
You know?
But the thing is, when I think back on like the earlier like the serious stuff, because there definitely was a part of our experience with this.
It literally gave us Chekhov's gun, and even almost the most.
No, totally. Yeah. Like, yeah, literally Chekhov's gun. But with regards to the serious moments that I was sort of like, let's get back to like the good shit that's the banter and everything. Even the serious moments, they'd be dealing with the Mani-Wani and everything, where it's like, you have a bunch of like silly people that look like penguins and shit.
No, that's only like, Mani-Wani are like 20% of the story. There's like another 30% that is not the cutesy adventure stuff.
All the talks that they have with the people that have the swords.
Yeah, all the stuff that they're focusing on with the characters there, and the reason why each sword was a lesson of sorts for not just Shichika, but also Togame.
Well, but also this is called sword story, not strategian story. So, you know, the fact that Togame is not as important, if you will, in the grand scheme of things, that's something that is literally, the writing is literally on the walls, right? Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think if anything, the point that I mistook from this was that it was more likely that Shichika was going to die then, because there was a lot of things that were set up that he was needing to basically be broken. He needed to be reforged. He needed to be completed. He needed to go through this journey. But it was like you said, writing on the wall. But it was that Togame was the one that was so stubborn and so insistent on this journey, and because he was so smitten by her, he didn't have basically the means to see that they were ending with the, you know, we're gonna do this by the sword, and thus, you know, eventually one of us is going to die by it.
Alternate way of looking at things.
Okay.
Given that Togame's big flaw was that she held too strongly to this whole escapade that they were on.
Yeah,
right?
she has a pride and stubbornness issue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
that to me makes it seem like the whole thing of Shichika becoming like a perfected blade and all of that stuff, that very much didn't need to happen, right? And Shichika was set up to have that not happen, which would have, given the Togame example, would have made that the right call, right?
What are you talking about? I'm so the right call in the story. What?
No. From like the character lesson, right? The Shichika going and doing the whole, I'm gonna kill them all. I'm gonna break all the swords and all of that stuff. That is a perfectly valid decision for him to make, given what happened, right?
Yeah.
I've got no issue with that decision. But removed from the idea of Togame dying, him becoming a perfected blade didn't need to happen.
No, it happened long before this.
No, it happened when she died. Like the show literally tells us. He is now a perfected blade.
No, for sure. But I think the final nail in the coffin, pun intended, is that she died, but he had been like, we're talking like the last 1%. Like he would be like 99% of the way there. It was just the idea that at that point he was no longer with a master. He had no strings on him. He was completely free.
That's interesting, because my takeaway from the episodes leading up to the end was actually that he was going in the exact opposite direction. He was becoming less of a sword because he was getting more in touch with his human side, right? And so that was the growth that was happening, and we could be really excited for it because that's what he needed, And then
I am agreeing. That's freedom, more human side.
But that has nothing to do with becoming a perfected sword, right?
Right? What made him a perfected sword here was the master dying, right?
Right.
But what does the master represent? The master represents the one that the wielder. They're the one that holds and decides what the blade does. If the blade is unwielded, then they are perfect and can be wielded by anybody. Well, thus they are free. Well, so freedom would be the aspect of. Yeah, right.
Okay. I would say if they're perfected and they're free, that would mean not that they can be wielded by anybody, but that they're wielding themselves.
Well, and whatever they could be wielded by themselves is underneath the umbrella of anybody, but they would choose.
I would disagree on that, but
cool.
But then with regards to that's perfecting him as a sword, because then the thing that he's choosing is, I'm going to be a sword. I'm going to kill all of these people. I'm going to break the other blades. And, all of these things that a sword would do, right? Togame totally could have told him to do something like this. And, maybe that would have happened, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't have anything to do with him needing to reach that point in order for him to reach his full crystallization as a character, as a person.
So are you saying the story was just wrong? Like what's the point you're getting at, though? Like, is
that's the part of it that's the tragedy, right? In that Shichika, I think, had figured things out more than Togame by the time we got to the ending. But then because Togame died as a result of her flaws, then that's something that essentially set back Shichika from the human angle, but it did progress him from the sword angle, and then it ties into the whole, this is a sword story, not a person story, right? And so.
But by the end of it, he's broken, so he's no longer a sword. So.
Right, and that's the lots of bitter, little bit of sweet at the end.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
All right. I just felt like you were going the longest roundabout way to get something we already agreed upon like 20 minutes ago.
No, I mean, I agree that we ended up getting that little bit of sweetness at the end, but I still very much see this as being a tragedy rather than a bittersweet.
Right. I never said it wasn't a tragedy. At least I don't think I did. But just the idea that the story did have a good ending for him. Like his moment at the end of it there is him being free. That doesn't mean you can't. It's not a tragedy that led to this, thing there. But we can have good things come from tragedies,
And the reason why I think it is because I think he had more or less already figured that out, and then he was able to get back to the point where he was at, plus a little bit of progress, because Togame hadn't actually been like, okay, go be freed, do your whole thing. He hadn't actually separated himself from her in that master sword relationship, right? But I think from the Shichika internals, that was the thing that he had been doing all the way up until this point and had been making leaps and bounds as far as the progress for that. So the fact that he got to that point, I'm still glad that that happened, because then it wouldn't have been ultimate tragedy of him forgetting everything forever because she died, right?
Right.
And he just becomes a sword. But
right. So then, yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Huh. Weird. All right. Well, y'all, this was a very, very emotional ending, and we got ourselves, I don't know, probably one of the most unique action fantasy anime I've ever seen, in that I fell in love with the characters, and yet they took half the cast essentially away from me. And I'm very, very happy that I
that you went on the journey?
Well, that I went on the journey, but more so that I got to see this ending. I feel like this is something that I respect the anime for actually committing to this and going all the way. There's an element of endings like this where they double back at the very end, and then they say, right, Lelouch, at the very last second or something. There's no there's no
backpedaling or
there's
whatever.
No bullshit backpedaling here. She doesn't somehow miraculously survive.
Nope.
There's no aspect of this of where he's like, yes, but she's still in my heart.
Nope.
There's no aspect of this where he's carrying on in some kind of, pseudo spiritual love connection with her beyond death. No, he's moving on. He's living living his life.
And then we get that little bit of showing that he still remembers her with the sticking to the catchphrase.
The catchphrase, exactly.
with the princess at the end.
Right. That's the closest thing that they do to that. So I'm just really impressed that the story committed to the type of story that it wanted to tell and didn't feel like it had to go back on those things.
Yeah, because if you do something this ballsy as to kill off one of the two core characters that's so beloved, you don't want to pull the punch, because then that just makes it feel worse, right?
Or kind of say we do a big full punch there, and then it's but you see, I missed the vitals.
Right, yeah.
I feel like, if anything, that was the one part that I got scared of, was when he said, I missed the vitals. I was like, don't you dare do that. And it's no.
She's going to die in still 5 minutes.
There's nothing you can do, but
you get your last words.
And I'm like, Emonzaemon, I love you. Emonzaemon is one of those characters where I didn't think I was going to like him in the beginning.
Oh, yeah?
When he was first introduced. I love his character
so much. He's just so cool.
He's such a walking contradiction of a character, and I love masked characters that start off as these very simple one-note kind of characters that basically don't become, in a lot of ways, that three-dimensional, but they take another note that is so antithetical to the original impression that you're like, wait, that makes them almost feel like a three-dimensional character.
Yeah, you take a one-dimensional character, make them two-dimensional with a contradiction, and then you just go deep on that.
You go deep on that,
right?
Yeah.
You don't need to, because with the type of person that he is, he knows what he's about, and he will stick to that, right? There isn't the same kind, which is also why he wouldn't make for a good main character. Right?
Definitely.
Because he doesn't have the kind of conflict that Togame or Shichika has, right? Internally, But for that side character that we get to just enjoy and see, it's fantastic.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, with your kind of gripes about the princess, Emonzaemon mostly negates any gripes I had about the princess.
Yeah, Emonzaemon definitely elevates her a lot.
Their interactions are really good. Like the ways in which, they're constantly not in the same room when they're talking.
Sure.
There's this element of tool that you keep in the attic for when you need it. And it's when I need you, I'll bring you out. But then it's also sad in that they're separated. There's this idea that they're not equals. And it's very almost heartbreaking in that regard. Because I feel like that, now that I'm maybe thinking a bit too, on this here, but that's kind of a foreshadowing, in my opinion, of the ultimate separation between these two, of what a sword and master ultimately can't, one of them will outlive the other, basically. Obviously in a basic sense.
But I would say that could just as easily be the flip side, where it's these are the people that that didn't figure it out, whether
we will be the ones,
whether through incapability or willfulness.
Totally,
and
totally,
so
yes.
that's why these are the main characters.
Right. I definitely think that's something that you could get from that. I was just something that I kind of more in retrospect thinking back on, and I go, oh, that's something that I find rather interesting, because they are a perfect mirror in a lot of respects, not every respect, but in a lot of respects of our main characters.
Yep.
So the fact that Emonzemon got built up so well, given that, you know,
it really does elevate her in the story, not just because we enjoy him so much. So the fact that she also is like in the scenes with him,
it's not just basic proximity stuff.
Right, exactly. And you know, for all of this stuff of her being like, oh, what, you know, pathetic last words or whatever it was she said, you know, the way that she uses him like a tool and stuff. When he's dead, she still afterwards wears the mask. You know. So.
Oh yeah, in the same way that he took the catchphrases and stuff like that. They still lived their lives, and they had a history.
And nice. And that final Cheerio.
Yeah, that
both cut deep and also
funny. Nice.
Oh. Not intentional.
I noticed. I was just like, that's good though.
It both cut deep and also was
nice
like
salve.
It's like it needed to happen. It needed to happen. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I also just love the idea that by the end of it, it's no, Shikizaki Kiki is not going to change history by some dramatic soothsayer lineage ultimate
thankfully, because
strat plan,
because that was something introduced very recently and felt kind of like out there as far as like this is what the story depends on.
Right, but the idea that it was something that was a part of the, you know, the trappings of the swords and stuff like that, having then the end be, well, yeah, if anything, we saw Shikizaki Kiki through the sword that carried his memories and stuff. No, like that guy. No, he was a bit mad. He was a bit crazy. And so while he's right in the dark comedy of the soothsayer foreshadowing prophecy thing of oh shit, 100 years from now, let me line up the years. Gotcha.
What happens?
That. Okay, but then it's the in the end, the story of Japan is not going to be, you know, based on the, you know, manipulations of tools and stuff like that. It's going to be held by the people who's going to live their stories in their independent ways, and we can leave it up to them. So the idea that the princess kind of goes, well, we'll just hope that the warriors of Japan in those days have good guts, you know?
Right.
And it's the right. We can trust in people.
Take your hands off and not. You don't need to be the schemer.
Yeah, exactly. If anything, live your lives, and I to end the story with the sad Ronin walking off into the, you know, the horizon with, you know, their companion and stuff. I liked the way they did it for these two here, because it was not what I was expecting, but once I kind of got to see what was going on, I'd gotten over the shock of it, it kind of settled with me, and I was like, oh, whoa. Oh, there's some lessons in there that we could unpack for a lot longer if we wanted to.
Lessons that I don't even entirely like, not from the standpoint of like, do I think it's a good lesson, but like, you don't have permission to try and teach me that lesson. You know, like,
you need to set some boundaries, and rather than just time skip immediately to that, I would like another episode or two. Thank you in between,
or not even that. Just okay. I understand the whole thing of letting the princess live, but don't you fucking dare try and imply that she's gonna replace Togame, who she killed.
She didn't. Yeah.
No, that's kind of what they're setting up. She's going to be the new person that's traveling alongside him.
You're right now.
No. Not that it'll be exactly the same. Because you'll never forget Togame.
Right.
But
it's a replacement.
No, but taking the place.
No. You think in such binaries. The idea that she is going to be following him and just chasing after this whole way. He's like, well, you might as well make yourself useful. Like he's not falling for her.
Yes.
Yes, it's the open-ended ending where it's the, hey, maybe there's still hope for both of them to find happiness and find something, beyond the horizon. Regardless of whether it's together, it's the idea that they can learn from each other. It's the human connection side of things. They both...
Sure. I'm not bitter. No, not at all.
Totally get it though, man. But yeah, wonderful story to give us a first time experience with the 50-minute episodes of anime. It was a little bit rough in the beginning because I don't think my brain is actually mentally aligned right to consume anime at a 50-minute per episode pace. So that was something that I definitely had as an underlying issue with this story. A lot of times that I was just like, oh boy, right, 50 minutes. Okay, I'm feeling like the episode should be over by now, but there's a lot to it. But the fact that we got it in the 12 weeks kind of time versus 24 if they had done it into, 26.
Oh yeah, no.
I think it would have dragged things out in a way that I really didn't like
absolutely.
because imagine if every sword was a two-parter,
Well, okay. So yes.
I don't want to go into a long conversation
no, I know.
about speculation.
No, right. But the only thing that I'm thinking of is that you could theoretically have the sword fight still be a short amount of time, but then you could have like side episodes where it's like
it would just be the same.
No, I know. It wouldn't. Yeah,
it would just be the same story. Just the episodes would break in the middle at some like arbitrary cliffhanger. In some respect, that's probably why I now really want to check out the source material, is because this was an adaptation decision
from a light novel series, and having one light novel per episode is.
Well, was it one light novel per episode?
Yeah.
Those are really small light novels then.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of light novels will be like, 200, 220 pages, and not not like
lot
meaty
that gets
pages.
Cut though.
Yes, and that's the
to
reason.
Put in perspective, there, the recent show we watched is a light novel, 86.
Yep, and that's why I am generally way more interested in checking out source material when it's a light novel adaptation versus a manga adaptation.
Same.
Because there will be a lot more content that's cut.
Yeah.
Like Toradora, the first 2 episodes are the first light novel. And there is a whole shit ton of stuff in there that just, gets cut because you can't have it all in there.
You can't have it all in there. But yeah, y'all, thank you so much, though, for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction of what we're watching after this, which is not fully decided yet, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You got an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also be sure to check out my Persona 5 Let's Play on Twitch. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.